Before I explain why I'm now shifting to layers, I think it's important to share a little about how I first got into poultry farming. When I first thought about starting, I really didn't have much money to my name. I was completely new to it all and I had never raised chickens before, not even one. I understood that farming could be risky, and as a beginner, I didn't want to dive into something too big and end up losing everything. I knew I had to find a simple, safe way to start small and learn as I went. So I began doing some research, reading a lot, asking questions, and trying to figure out the best way to begin without taking huge risks. That's when I came across something called Sasso Chickens. From everything I read and heard, Sasso Chickens seemed like a perfect fit for someone like me who was just starting out. They grow quickly, they're strong birds, and they can handle tough weather and living conditions without too much trouble. Another thing that made me happy about choosing Sasso Chickens was that they didn't need a lot of expensive care. Unlike layers, which need special feed and careful management right from the start, Sassos are a little more forgiving if you make small mistakes, which was a big relief for me as a beginner. Even though my real dream deep down was to raise layers and build a big egg business, I knew I had to be patient. I told myself, let's start small, take it one step at a time, learn as much as I can, and when the time is right, I'll move closer to my dream. That's how my poultry journey began, with small steps, a lot of learning, and a big hope for the future. When I bought my first chickens, to be honest, I didn't even have a proper chicken house ready. I was just starting out with the little money I had saved, and building something fancy wasn't an option. I had to work with what was available, so I went with a simple free-range system. During the day, I let the chickens roam around freely, scratching the ground, eating insects, and pecking at plants. At night, to protect them from predators and bad weather, I kept them in a small old grass-thatched shelter that had once belonged to my brother. It wasn't perfect, but it did the job for the time being. I clearly remember buying my first 100-day-old Sasso chicks. They were so tiny and delicate, and I knew right away that if I didn't care for them properly, I could lose them easily. My full focus was on brooding, making sure they were warm, fed, and safe. I didn't have fancy equipment, so I used a clay pot with charcoal to keep them warm and checked on them constantly, even at night. Taking care of those chicks quickly became a full-time job. It wasn't always easy, but seeing them grow stronger each day filled me with joy and pushed me to keep going. After about a month, I realized the space I had was getting too small, and feeding all 100 birds was becoming a real challenge. As hard as it was, I made the decision to sell 50 of them. It wasn't easy to let them go, but I knew it was the right step to keep my dream alive. Selling those 50 birds brought in some much-needed cash. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to give me a real chance to improve the farm. I used part of that money to buy better quality feed for the remaining chickens, which helped them grow stronger and healthier. But more importantly, I now had the chance to fix something that had been bothering me from the start: the lack of a proper chicken house. I realized that even though free-range farming had helped me begin, the chickens needed more than just open space. They needed a safe, comfortable place where they could rest and stay protected no matter the weather. I didn't waste any time. I carefully planned how I would spend the money because I knew every coin counted. I bought basic but strong materials, nothing fancy, just what was enough to build something decent and lasting. I also found a local carpenter who understood my situation and helped me keep the costs low. After a few days of working together, my first real chicken house was ready. It wasn't huge, only 3 meters by 4 meters, but to me, it was like building a castle. Standing there, looking at it, I felt a deep sense of pride. It was more than just a shelter for my chickens. It was a symbol of how far I had come. The new house made a big difference. Now, the chickens were protected from the rain, the strong sun, and predators like dogs and hawks. I didn't have to worry every night about their safety anymore. It also made managing their feeding and health much easier. Their food and water stayed clean, and it became simpler for me to notice if any bird wasn't feeling well. The chickens responded too. They stayed healthier and grew faster than before. Everything started to feel more organized, and I could finally see real progress happening on my small farm. Looking back, I realized that building that little chicken house was a major turning point for me. It taught me that real growth doesn't happen through big, sudden changes. It happens through small, steady steps that you take seriously. That simple house taught me that with hard work, patience, and smart choices, even small beginnings can lead to something amazing. It made me believe even more strongly that as long as I kept learning and moving forward, my bigger dreams were not just wishes, they were goals I could actually achieve. Long before I ever bought my first Sasso chickens, my real dream had always been to rear layers. I had this picture in my mind of waking up early in the morning, walking into a neat, well-organized chicken house, and collecting fresh eggs every single day. I dreamed of selling those eggs, having a steady income, and slowly building a life around it. Being an egg farmer sounded so peaceful and so rewarding to me. But even though that dream burned strongly inside me, I also knew I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't ready at that time. Layers are not like Sasso chickens. They need better housing, good and steady feeding, clean water at all times, and very careful day-to-day management. They are a little more sensitive too, and if you don't take care of them properly, they won't lay well. Plus, layers take a long time to start giving you returns. You have to feed them and take care of them for several months before they even lay their first egg. That means you need a lot of patience and quite a bit of money to sustain them during those early months without getting anything back. When I looked at my situation honestly, I saw the reality. I didn't have enough money and I wasn't experienced enough either. I knew deep down that if I forced things and jumped straight into layers without preparing properly, I might end up failing. And worse, I could end up giving up on my dream completely. So, even though my heart was set on rearing layers, my mind told me to take a smarter path. That's why I made the decision to start with Sasso chickens instead. Sasso chickens were a much better fit for me at that time. They grow faster, they are tougher, and they don't require the same level of careful management as layers do, especially when you're just starting out. With Sasso, you don't have to wait too long before you can start selling and making some money. I saw them as my stepping stone, a way to learn about chicken farming with lower risks, to build my skills little by little, and to raise some money that could later help me move closer to my bigger dream. Looking back now, I am so grateful that I chose to start small and stay patient. Starting with Sasso chickens gave me the chance to build a strong foundation without getting overwhelmed. It allowed me to learn through real experience, make some mistakes without losing everything, and grow in confidence and understanding. And now, because of that careful beginning, I am much closer to living the dream I carried from day one. The dream of being a successful egg farmer. Every small step I took brought me closer, and I know the best is still yet to come. Now, after all the hard work and the lessons I've picked up along the way, I finally feel ready to take the next big step in my poultry journey. It's been a long time coming, and I can honestly say that I feel more confident now than ever before. I've learned so much about chicken farming, things you can only really understand when you experience them yourself. And now it feels like the right time to move forward with the dream I started with. One of the biggest changes that makes this possible is that I now have a better chicken house. It's bigger, stronger, and it can comfortably hold about 300 layer chickens. Getting to this point didn't happen overnight. That chicken house was built slowly, piece by piece, thanks to the money I made from selling my Sasso chickens. If I had tried to jump straight into keeping layers in the beginning without enough money or a proper shelter, I probably would have run into serious trouble. I might have spent all my money trying to fix problems or replacing birds, and I could have ended up stuck with no way forward. But because I chose to start with Sasso chickens, I was able to grow little by little, learning as I earned and building up a strong foundation at my own pace. Shifting to layers now feels very exciting for me. One of the reasons is that layers offer something Sasso chickens never could: a steady, regular income. With Sasso, you raise the birds, sell them once when they are ready, and then you have to start all over again. But with layers, it's different. Once they start laying eggs, you have a daily or weekly income you can depend on. Eggs are needed every day, and there's always a market for them, whether in small villages or big towns. That steady demand means I'll be able to plan better, save better, and manage my farm's finances more easily. Another reason I'm so excited about raising layers is that they are a long-term investment. Once they start laying, they can keep producing eggs for about a year and a half. That means after putting in the work and care to raise them up, I'll have a reliable source of income every single day for many months. It's the kind of consistency that can help build a real, sustainable business, not just something that survives from season to season. This is the dream I had right from the very beginning. To be a full-time egg farmer, to walk into my chicken house every morning and collect baskets of fresh eggs, and to know that my hard work is paying off in a way that can support me and my family for the long term. I truly believe that this next step is going to take my farm to a whole new level. Looking back now, I see that starting small with Sasso chickens was truly a blessing. It taught me patience, it taught me discipline, and it allowed me to grow naturally without rushing and without losing hope. It helped me build the skills, the confidence, and the resources I needed to reach this point where I can now start my dream business properly. And even though I am now shifting my main focus to layers, Who knows? Maybe in the future, I might still rear some Sasso chickens alongside my layer business. They were my beginning, and they hold a special place in my journey. Having both might even make the farm more balanced and stronger. But for now, my heart is fully set on living my original dream, becoming a proud, successful egg farmer. If this video inspires you, please give it a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, you can learn more about poultry farming and also follow along as you watch my small farm grow and prosper. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you in the next video.